The eagle arrives like a blade of wind, closing in with flawless precision. Altitude becomes a tool, turning open space into an advantage at the decisive moment. The prey may flee or resist, but once selected, escape is no longer an option. The encounter unfolds in seconds, where the only margin for error belongs to the one below. This is not a story of brutality, but a law of survival written from above. Beneath the dry, scorching ground, the lizard lives in a state of near-constant alertness. Its small, lightweight body and sand-toned skin allow it to blend seamlessly into the soil and rocky crevices. Eyes positioned on both sides of the head give it a wide field of vision at ground level, but they also leave a fatal blind spot from above. From an aerial vantage point, the eagle circles quietly, maintaining distance and waiting with patience. It watches for the moment when the prey's natural blind zone is exposed, when the lizard turns its body or pauses to rest, and its attention no longer points toward the sky. The instant the opening appears, the dive unfolds like a straight line drawn by the wind. The wings fold tight, and gravity becomes an ally. As the eagle reaches its target, curved talons generate a gripping force of roughly 90 pounds, locking the prey in place within a fraction of a second. If any resistance follows, the powerful beak intervenes immediately, stabilizing the head and securing control. This encounter is not a display of aggression, but a clear demonstration of an ecological rule. Height determines vision, and vision determines opportunity. Wolves are a symbol of endurance on the ground. With bodies weighing around 100 pounds, they move in packs, relying on coordination and long distances to build their advantage. To an eagle, a wolf is not a typical target. The two species rarely confront each other directly. Their relationship exists in parallel, one ruling the sky, the other commanding the plains. In rare cases, however, when a lone wolf becomes separated from its group and crosses open terrain, it may enter the field of view from above. The eagle does not descend in reckless pursuit. It lowers altitude gradually, testing reactions and measuring distance. With a precise grip aimed at a vital area, the encounter ends before the wolf can turn its strength into resistance. With bears, the situation is more clearly defined. During the breeding season, when nests rest on cliff faces or high trees, bald eagles act as determined guardians. A bear weighing several hundred pounds that moves too close to these sensitive areas is immediately monitored. Short, repeated swoops aimed near the head are used, not to overpower, but to redirect movement and encourage retreat. This reflects ecological balance. Each species holds its ground, and the system functions through respected boundaries. On sheer mountain slopes, mountain goats represent absolute stability. An adult can weigh close to 260 pounds, yet move calmly across rock ledges only a few inches wide. Split hooves grip tightly to the stone surface, allowing balance at elevations of thousands of feet, where every movement demands complete precision. Because of this control, adult goats rarely become targets. But along the edges of the herd, younger individuals, lighter, slower, and less experienced, expose brief moments of vulnerability that nature is always ready to test. In the Italian Alps, a golden eagle once chose a bold moment to approach a chamois mother and her young on a steep cliff face. As the mother moved downhill to shield her offspring, the eagle's talons caught in the thick, coarse fur. In an instant, the advantage vanished, pulling both into a dangerous slide along the rocky slope. The eagle paid the price for a mistimed decision, while the chamois mother and young escaped by the narrowest margin. At high altitude, advantage is never permanent. There, survival does not belong to the strongest, but to the one who is most precise in every decision. Unlike many other forms of prey, snakes do not rely on speed or numbers to survive. Their advantage lies in concealment, extremely fast reflexes, and a short strike range paired with venom. Many large species can exceed 6 feet in length, their bodies pressed close to the ground, nearly disappearing among dry grass and loose stone, where a single subtle movement can shift the outcome. For an eagle, this presents a high-risk calculation. It does not descend blindly. Every approach is planned to come from behind, the zone where a snake's reaction is momentarily slower at the critical instant. As the snake turns to respond, the eagle's beak and talons move into position at once, establishing control while maintaining safe distance and limiting movement. Each motion is fast, controlled, and precise, with no room for error. Against venomous species such as cobras, the eagle holds a quiet advantage. Dense, stiff feathers along the legs act as a natural layer of protection, reducing risk from fangs. When the prey is too large to manage on the ground, the encounter shifts upward, where gravity becomes the deciding factor. To face venomous snakes, an eagle relies not only on strength, but on strategy and near-perfect calculation. In dense forests, monkeys are masters of three-dimensional space. Lightweight bodies, ranging from just a few to over 10 pounds, allow them to grip trunks and narrow branches with ease, moving in groups high above the ground while rarely leaving openings. Most of the time, the thick canopy serves as near-perfect protection. But when a single individual becomes focused on feeding and awareness slips, a gap appears. From above, the approach unfolds in silence. With the ability to navigate through layered foliage, the eagle is agile enough to control the situation and withdraw before the group can react. Along the edges of thinner forests, wild boar present a very different challenge. An adult can sprint at nearly 30 miles per hour and carries sharp tusks, making direct confrontation a high-risk choice. Opportunity arises only when a piglet strays from the group and crosses open ground for a brief moment. The eagle reads the wind, closes the distance, locks onto the target, and withdraws at precisely the right time, matching the movement rhythm of the entire group. And as the shadow of wings fades behind the trees, that pursuit has not yet truly ended. Across cold lakes and coastal wetlands, resident geese appear seasoned and alert, like disciplined guardians of open water. Their large bodies, dense feathers, and strong swimming ability give them confidence in exposed environments. But to the white-tailed eagle, water is not a disadvantage. It is simply another arena. When hunting, the eagle approaches from above, its wings spreading wider than 7 feet to press the goose down onto the water's surface. Rather than engaging in a prolonged struggle, it uses its own weight to gradually shift the balance in cold water, where reactions slow and resistance weakens. With gray geese weighing up to 8 pounds, too heavy to lift immediately, the eagle does not attempt to take flight. Instead, it lowers its center of mass, uses its wings like paddles, and guides the target toward shore. This is not sudden force, but an energy-efficient tactic that reflects flexible adaptation. On the water, the eagle is no longer only a ruler of the sky. There, it becomes a strategist, knowing when to apply strength and when patience is the deciding factor, to maintain its role within the balance of the ecosystem. For an eagle, open water is where vision and strength work in near-perfect coordination. The downward strike is calculated at a steep angle. Curved talons, nearly 2 inches long, open at precisely the right moment to secure slippery prey. Unlike deep-diving birds, an eagle rarely submerges fully. It touches the surface only briefly, then immediately spreads its broad wings to lift a fish, weighing up to 5 pounds into the air, without the need to dive beneath the water. That same precision continues into its breeding life. Inside massive nests, parent eagles raise their young under nature's uncompromising rules. In reality, only about 30 to 40% of eaglets survive to adulthood due to harsh weather, limited food, and constant competition. For that reason, every act of care serves a single purpose: to ensure that at least one offspring is strong enough to leave the nest, so the sky is never left empty. The lion surges across the savanna, each heavy stride stamping its authority into the ground. Breath tightens, the formation closes, and escape routes are sealed within seconds. Another predator appears, and the angle of approach is cut off. No roar is needed. Choosing the right position is enough to seize the advantage. So what allows the lion to take control from the very first moment? If the lion is a symbol of open, overwhelming power, the leopard is a quiet, solitary hunter. From the same cat family and competing for the same food resources, when interests overlap, there is almost no room for compromise. The leopard lives alone, so it often avoids direct confrontation, but lingering near a lion's patrol routes makes contact almost unavoidable. When a lion charges, an early reaction can still allow the leopard to get away. At speeds over 35 miles per hour, it can spring up a tree within seconds, quickly moving beyond reach. Along that thin boundary, awareness and reflexes become the shield that helps the leopard preserve its survival advantage again and again. But the more it moves along the edges of territory, the more scent and movement patterns are stored in the lion's memory. So in the next face-to-face moment, the charge is no longer a boundary warning. The lion applies pressure from the first beat, cuts off open space, locks down escape angles, and forces a decision in a split second. And if an entire pride detects it, the rhythm changes immediately. The circle tightens, each step compressing space, forcing the leopard to adjust from a disadvantaged position. One brief lapse is enough for the balance to tip completely, when the dominant force turns a chance encounter into a final outcome. The balance tips fully toward the dominant force. Across the same grasslands, African wild dogs are among the most refined hunting specialists. Despite their relatively small bodies at around 70 pounds, they make up for it with endurance, speed, and coordination that few species can match. With success rates reaching as high as 80%, they become formidable rivals in the struggle for energy. But the moment that hunting rhythm crosses into lion territory, the atmosphere shifts instantly. Lions appear, move straight into the center, and assert control over the food source through sheer authority. Under overwhelming pressure, the wild dogs are forced to scatter like arrows, using speed to stretch the pursuit and carve open escape routes. Even so, lions are not easily diverted. One mistimed beat, one pup falling behind, and the distance vanishes. Each encounter like this is a way lions confirm control across the savanna. For wild dogs, as lion numbers rise in an area, the survival chances of their pups are directly affected. Studies suggest that only about 1/3 to 1/2 of the young make it to adulthood. Crocodiles, the ancient reptiles of rivers and wetlands, can reach lengths of around 16 feet and weigh close to 1,000 pounds in large individuals. They are known for an almost invisible ambush style, remaining still, holding position, and waiting for the precise moment. Their strength lies in absolute patience and a sudden upward snap from beneath the surface, with a bite force once measured at around 3,700 psi. When lions approach to drink or cross a river, every step slows, every gaze scans the water. Yet the real danger often comes from a place no one sees in time. One sudden surge is enough to push the entire group back from the edge, retreating to familiar shallow ground. In that moment, what saves the lions is not strength, but reflex. A quick burst, a sharp change of direction, and staying close to the shallows. But when the encounter shifts onto land, the balance nearly reverses. On dry ground, lions are more agile and proactive, able to apply pressure where crocodiles struggle to turn or reposition. If a crocodile is forced too far from the water and cannot slide back in time, it faces a disadvantage against a rising group of lions. This encounter delivers a clear reminder. Power is not just size or intimidation, but being in the right place at the right time, within an environment one truly controls. Hyenas are masters of opportunity. An adult can weigh up to around 150 pounds, with an estimated bite force of over 1,000 sorts, strong enough to snap through hard targets. Their clans are built on a matriarchal structure, led by seasoned females who enforce strict order and turn the group into a unified force that is hard to shake. They do not only hunt, they also routinely trail leopards or lions to contest access to food. When a lion's roar collides with the hyena's chilling laughter over what remains of a meal, the confrontation ignites instantly. If only a few lionesses are present, the hyenas exploit their numerical advantage, forming a noisy ring and applying constant pressure from multiple directions, steadily wearing down the defense rhythm, and at times forcing lionesses to leave the area. But the balance shifts completely when a male lion appears. With overwhelming strength, nearly 4 times that of a hyena, just a few decisive steps forward can make the clan hesitate, the formation break apart, and the group retreat in a hurry. At times, lions extend pressure through a long game strategy, following tracks and harassing areas where hyenas raise their young, forcing rivals to stay alert even in places that seem safest. The goal is not always food, but reducing competition and delivering a clear message about boundaries. That is why, no matter how persistent or numerous they are, hyenas must always be cautious in the presence of the savanna's king. A rivalry that feels deeply woven into the unwritten rules of this land. On the African savanna, there are borders no one can see, yet every lion can sense them. This is territory, the ground that holds water, grasslands, shade, and the routes prey most often follow. Holding that space means securing life for the pride, protecting the young, and extending the group's future. When they reach peak strength, young males are forced to leave the place they were born, roaming dozens of miles in search of land of their own. A roar carries like a declaration, and scent marks laid across low grass serve as a clear warning sign. But those same signals also invite a challenge, and the most formidable rival is another lion. Wherever he steps, the land may already have an owner. A clash can ignite as fast as a spark. The deciding edge is not only muscle, but will and pride, driving an opponent back from the boundary. The winner holds control of the territory and the chance to carry on his lineage. The one at a disadvantage must retreat to preserve the chance to live on. These internal battles between kings reveal the cold face of natural selection. There is no room for hesitation. Only those with the nerve, the toughness, and the awareness to stay sharp can hold their place and leave a mark for the next generation. On the savanna, the cheetah is the fastest runner. With a body of around 120 pounds, a flexible spine, and long legs, it can accelerate from near zero to over 60 miles per hour in just a few seconds. But speed is not always enough to protect it from lions, the dominant force of this land. Most of the time, the cheetah escapes by detecting danger early and breaking away before pressure closes in. One moment of distraction, letting a lion get too close, and the advantage of speed is immediately shut down. A split-second delay can flip everything. And pressure does not come only from the chase. After bringing down a target, the cheetah often must eat quickly and leave before other predators arrive. A few seconds too slow, and all effort can be lost. The lesson is clear. Not just running fast, but staying alert at the right moment is the true advantage. The eagle hunts not to display dominance, but to keep nature moving in its proper rhythm. If those sweeping wings have drawn viewers in, a like and a subscription help continue the journey. Somewhere far away, the sky is already watching a new movement unfold, until the next encounter, when another subtle motion enters view from above.